Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here today to talk about what's the problem with millennials. Okay, I think we've come across this before. Millennials, if you look in the popular press today, millennials are considered to be entitled, impatient, good with technology, but change jobs regularly. This is apparently a new thing. I looked at myself when I first entered the workforce, and yes, I was good with technology. I had one of these. But I was also incredibly impatient. I felt very entitled. I changed jobs regularly. I thought I was better than my manager at doing his job, and I must have been absolutely awful to work with. So I don't think this is a new thing. What I want to do, though, before we go too deep into looking at this, is look at what we define as a millennial, because as a world, as a people, we couldn't actually agree when the new millennium started. So are we actually agreeing who a millennial is? We have different generations. There's lots of different definitions out there. The scholars have loads of different definitions of what a generation is. This isn't necessarily the right or the wrong one. This is just the one that I like the most. 15 years for a generation. This is how we define it. So the animation's coming up. There we go. So baby boomers, born 1950 to 64. They're currently aged 55 to 69. Generation X, aged 40 to 54. Each of these are 15 years. Generation Y, aged 25 to 39. Generation Z, 10 to 24. And the Generation Alpha, the scary ones that are coming up, are currently under 9. Now, the scholars amongst us recognize that the millennials are actually Generation Y. The popular press and all the people I think you were thinking about when I was putting up the slide with entitled are Generation Z. So we're not necessarily agreeing on who millennials are. I think the millennial problem that everyone talks about is actually a problem with Generation Z. Just to give you some context as well, what did we grow up with when we were entering the workforce? Well, our baby boomers amongst us had pen and paper. Our Generation X, our 40 to 54-year-olds, were used to using the keyboard. Generation Y, our new managers, are used to using the touchscreen. That's their input method of choice. Generation Z, everything is voice recognition. They talk to their devices all the time. Everything's done over voice recognition. Generation Alpha, the people who are yet to be born all the way through to 9. I'm not sure what that's going to be. I know that isn't a good icon, but I think it's very much going to be something to do with artificial intelligence. So that's our generations. We employ a lot of young people at Project 5. Every year we take on 2 apprentices, 2 interns and 2 graduates. Most of those people stay. Everything that I put on that first slide I've not experienced with the people who come to join Project 5. What I experience is a generation that is very, very capable. I just look at this week alone. The washing machine stopped working. My daughter, 17 years old, went straight onto Google, Googled the error code, and within 15 minutes she'd taken the front off, cleaned the right filter, and the washing machine was working again. I compare that to my mum. She would have to phone Tom, the intersit man, who 10 days' time would come in, take the thing apart, and charge her a fortune for doing it. The young today are very, very capable. They're also incredibly knowledgeable. For me, when I was growing up, it was the Encyclopedia Britannica. It was in the library, which was next to the swimming pool. Every time I went to go and learn something in Encyclopedia Britannica, I came home with wet hair. Nowadays, the young have access to so much comment, so much current affairs news. They've got opinions on absolutely everything. And it's not just one opinion. They are understanding all of the different political views. If you engage with them, they are very knowledgeable. As a generation today, everything is labelled. You've got lactose intolerant, you've got gluten-free, you've got vegan, you've got vegetarian, you've got pescatarian. Everything is labelled. When I was growing up, I was just a fussy eater. Today, we are labelling the young as millennials and calling them a problem. I think we need to get away from labelling them and look at them as human beings. And I think this is the point of this, is I think the young are being mismanaged. And this isn't a new thing, because when I became a manager for the first time, and I had to sit there and do an interview as the interviewer, not the interviewee, it was a car crash. It was absolutely appalling. Trying to be a new manager, trying to be a Generation Y person today, they're the people that need our support. those of us in the room who've got the experience, I think we need to stop blaming the young for being young and start focusing on our Generation Ys and helping them to be better managers.